So for me, this has been the first year on my Spotify that I don't know. I guess late like the last couple of years I was just listening to podcasts. So this year I actually listened to music, and it showed the the transformation for me from January all the way to December. Mostly just Latino music. So, but Catherine, I want to ask you a question.
Mhm.
Who's your number one artist on Spotify Rap? Or do you have
Wait. Don't tell me. Wait, let me guess.
Martin?
Wait.
Martin, you got your hands up.
I think it's gonna be Travis Kelsey's girlfriend. I can't
Oh, that's
remember
a
her
good.
name. I can't
I
remember her
think
name.
it's. I think it's like. I know it's a Swift. But I don't
Is
know her
it
like.
the Time Person of the Year?
Is she's time person? Okay, look. All right. So we're talking
I
about.
wait. You asked me a question. Didn't even
Okay,
give
I'm
me a
sorry.
chance
I
to
just get
answer.
heated when I hear Travis Kelsey and Swift and one. Go ahead, continue.
So disclaimer: I share a Spotify with my brother. We share his account, and so our Wrapped is always a little bit skewed. But we happen to have the same taste in music. So our number one is Taylor Swift. Top 1% of listeners, baby.
Oh my god!
That's
Oh my
nothing
god!
better.
What does that mean?
That's no. You know what that means? It means you have nothing better to do than to listen to Taylor Swift, and you have no taste of variety. You just listen to the same artist every single day, over and over again. I've never been in the top 1% of listeners for any
It means
artist,
that 2023 was a shit, heartbreaking year for me. And
and
Taylor
that's why you're always
got
going to be the
through.
problem because you're a Taylor Swift fan. Welcome to the Unsolicited Counseling Podcast. I'm your host. This is your boy Martin.
And this is your boy Jermaine.
And I'm already mad, but I'm Catherine.
And welcome back to another episode of your favorite podcast, Unsolicited Counseling. We are, wrapping up. We're at the end of our year, and we're talking about our Spotify wrap. For those wondering, I did not actually get Kanye West this year as my main artist. It was actually Tyler, the Creator. So I might have a little bi tendencies going on in my life. I don't know what that really means, but it was just like Tyler. Like the songs were like all from Sorry, Not Sorry album. It was just like Tyler. I was like, man, I did play the hell out of that album all year. And then Kanye was like number 5. I actually had
Wow.
Frank Ocean in that list too. I had a lot of, you know, LGBT artists.
Man, look at you being woke.
I'm very woke, and they make music that speaks to me for some reason. I don't get it. I don't get it. Maybe I don't know. I'm just broadening my horizons.
There you go. Look, man, you can dip your toe in other rivers. And they say a man can't step in the same river twice. There we go.
Well,
There you go.
that Frank Ocean, that ocean by coastal. So.
Exactly. And
Wait, what was
my
what was yours, Jermaine?
I was gonna say I think my top artist was Carol G, and then my second one was Kid Cudi. Oh, wait, look, that actually was a surprising surprise was Kid Cudi, and third was Frank Ocean. So it was an interesting year. Started off strong, trying to learn Spanish. Only listening on Carol G. Only listening to Carol G. And then I was like, okay, I feeling some feelings towards the middle of the year, and got my Frank Ocean on. I mean, my Kid Cudi, which transited to Frank Ocean, but all in all, wrapped up very smoothly. It showed my ebbs and flows. So yeah, it was a good year. It was a good year. First
I
actual
also
Spotify Wrapped. So excited.
I remember when you got into Frank Ocean. I think we were on the ride back from reunion, and you were like, "Man, I thought that Blonde album was garbage," and I was like,
Wow.
"Just listen to the lyrics." And on the drive back, you can see Jermaine slowly get more and more emotional listening to the lyrics and understanding it. I was like, "Yeah, man, this is like heartbreaking."
Oh, so
Do
heartbreaking.
it. I was like, "This is
Definitely
making me
healing. So
go."
yours was Taylor Swift. Mine is like Frank Ocean with the healing process. So we got that. We at least have that in common. We got that in common. It was both a struggle, but we made it.
I didn't make fun of you for Frank Ocean.
No, I'm not making fun of you, Catherine.
Oh.
It's just like I find it very interesting about Taylor Swift and Beyonce fans. And yes, Martin.
I'm making fun of you.
All right, and on that note, As we
Number
talk
3
about
was
our
Beyonce.
with the second one, Beyonce. On that note, well, as we talk about rap us and opening up, we all you know how we always start. We always ask how we doing. So I'm giving you the floor, Catherine. How you doing?
Thanks for asking. I am okay. I actually have been feeling a little bit down the last couple of days. I don't know if it's like seasonal depression or holiday times or what, but um, doing the things to get through it. Reached out and asked people to send like TikToks or funny stories. Went and got my nails done. Podcasting with you guys, doing yoga. So that's my little toolbox for making it through. But
Nice.
how was your birthday, Martin?
Man, I did not expect the spotlight like that. That was a nice like fastball. I wasn't ready for it. Snuck right by me.
Right in the
Um,
temple.
so yeah, if you didn't know, my birthday had just passed. My birthday was yesterday, from the day that we've been recording this episode. Yeah, it was a great. It was a great episode.
Great
It was going to
episode,
be a
right?
great episode.
That was a
It
great
was it
episode.
was a great birthday. I kind of tried to take a hiatus from social media and my phone in general on my birthday just to take it in. So I didn't really respond to a lot of people until the end of my day, like right before I went to bed, to say like, thank you for the birthday wishes, and just like thanks for thinking of me on this day. I spent the day. I actually went to work. A lot of people said just take off work. I was like, nah, I just want to treat it like a regular day. It's just another day, right? So I went to work. I finished my job. My wife made us pizza. She made homemade pizza for us for dinner, which was fire. I got my pepperoni and pineapple. She doesn't eat pepperoni, so she let me make my own pepperoni and pineapple pizza. So I was really excited about that. And then we watched the Super Mario movie on Netflix. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but Jack Black does the song with as Bowser called Peaches. The song is so fire. Like, if I heard this song at the beginning of the year, it would have been number one on my Spotify.
Nuh-uh.
It's right next to the Burger King Whopper Whopper song. But it was a hell of a birthday. I enjoyed myself. And one of the other highlights that happened, my coworker, she like randomly called me during the work day, and I was just like, "Elle, did we miss something? What's going on?" And then she's just like, "One, two, three," and her kids sung me happy birthday.
Oh.
And then her son was like, "Happy birthday, Mr. Martin." I was just like, "Oh, my heart is so full." So, my birthday was great. This week has been me just looking at the clock, waiting for the week to end, because next week I have a cruise that I'm looking forward to. Yeah, it's just a good time. End of the year. This is my last week of work until 2024. So just trying to get through it. What about you, Jermaine? How you doing? Oh,
Uh,
wait. Life's good. Wife's good. How you doing, Jermaine?
oh, good catch. Because I almost was like, phew. I'm doing really good. Doing really, really good. Life's been good. Just working, doing working on my Spanish. And coding, like just grinding, still, but it don't even feel like a grind. It just feels like I'm just doing it. I'm just Nike. So now it feels like a part of me. Um, but yeah, like overall, like I have been just in a better mood and still like doing my gratitude journal, still on my streak. Like life just has been just so great for me, and I've been so grateful for all the people around me, for this podcast, for you guys, and for the audience. Like it's just been overall like my mood I could see just change with just the constant just being aware of what I'm grateful for and not looking at what I have to have and just being appreciative of what I need. So life has been brighter. It's been brighter even though it's getting dark super early. But yeah, just seeing like people and doing the things I love and stuff, it just brought me so much joy. So hey, maybe some of this gratitude stuff does work. Talking about emotions does work. Journaling does work. I hate it because it's work, but I can't just like I just can't lay around and do nothing. But yeah, overall, things have just been great. Just continuing. I'm just going to continue this high, and it's finally Christmas season. November didn't count. November did not count. October did not count when they started playing Christmas music. December 1st, I slowly put my Santa cap on.
No. No, because Christmas doesn't start until after my birthday. So today is the first day of Christmas.
Okay,
It
today's
starts
I
at the
respect that.
6th. It starts at the 6th, and then moving forward. Now we can put the Christmas tree up. Now we can play some Mariah Carey. Now we can figure out why it's cold outside.
No, look, man, bro, yeah, Mariah Carey needs to be on December, but I respect that. I feel like you're a little late on the Christmas tree though, because if I saw my Christmas tree and I didn't put it up after like November 30th, I was like, this shit ain't happening, bro. This is happening the day before Christmas. But overall, life is good. I'm doing great, and yeah, let's start the podcast. As before we get into our topic today, we're gonna talk about. I was reading an article and I thought it was very interesting. We're gonna talk about like what are millennials and Gen Z's feelings and views on kids, and share our points of view on it and what we think. But before that, you know what we gotta do. I hope y'all got your drink in your hand because we're gonna be talking about drinks and we're gonna cheers at the end. So I'll kick it off first. I'm drinking a Benchmark number 8 eggnog. Um, it is a
Nice.
eggnog that is strict is obviously it's eggnog, but the only liquor in it is whiskey. So it's not cognac, rum, all that mix and blend like Evan Williams. No shade against Evan Williams. You like Evan Williams eggnog, go for it. But the benchmark eggnog, it's so good. It's very refreshing. It feels like you're not even drinking alcohol. It's just like eggnog. I did put too many ice in, so I'm a little blown because it's a little watered down. But I would be watered down like solid drink. 'Tis the season for spiked drinks, and this got me like whiskey eggnog. It got me in it. I always hated eggnog. I thought it was weird because I was like, "What's eggnog? Why are you putting eggs in a drink?" I'm not trying to bulk, but now I'm bulking. Anyways, I still would give this an 8.5 out of 10. Solid drink. I really like this. So if you guys haven't had it, try it. Benchmark number 8.
How
Catherine, what
can
do you think?
anyone hate eggnog? Eggnog is delicious.
I thought eggnog was literally like cream, like what is it? Not condensed milk, but what the fuck's the other? Oh, buttermilk or some shit. And then like you crack an egg and then you whisk it up. And I'm like, who drinks that? I saw that on like a cartoon one time. They were like, "This is eggnog," and I was like, "Man, white people are weird drinking eggnog."
Wait, how old were you when you realized that wasn't eggnog?
I'm gonna embarrass the shit out of myself. 21.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
But
Goodness, Jermaine.
let me.
Catherine, what are you drinking?
Yeah, on that note, I am jealous of your drink,
Hey,
Wayne. What? But I just have a nice tall glass of Tempranillo red wine, Trader Joe's special, affordable. It's a little cold outside in Charleston now, so it does the trick.
a little cold. Isn't it like 60 there?
Yeah.
That's
Um,
cold.
It got down to like 50 something today, maybe. I don't know. It was a little bit.
okay.
Oh,
The,
I had to
shit.
wear a long sleeve shirt. Oh.
Oh man.
Yeah.
She was like, "Be nice to me. Be nice,
Yeah, today
kids."
I was feeling a little bit down, but you guys were doing a great job making me feel better.
We're gonna
Well,
continue to make you feel better because that's what we do, Kathy.
well, I'm gonna
Great
also
time.
uplift you. I'm gonna uplift you a little bit because I have had Tempranillo before. It's like a Spanish wine, right?
Yeah, it's isn't it the one I told you to get, Jermaine, when you got wine for the podcast and you guys gave the White Claw a higher rating than the wine that I picked out?
I believe so. I probably didn't get the right. I got the right grape, but I didn't get the right brand. So maybe that was it. Maybe it was the wrong brand. Maybe it wasn't Joseph Seller. So I don't know. I'm just throwing out names because I don't know anything about wine.
What are you
All right,
drinking?
what did you get the wine then, Catherine?
Where'd I get it?
No, what would you give it?
Oh, probably a 7.
Okay, solid, average wine. Okay,
Yeah.
oh, above average, above average. What's your average score? What would your average score be when it comes to wine? Because you're a small yay, of course.
I mean, I like to stick in the 6 or 7 range.
All right, what would you give? What's the yellowtail?
Oh gosh, 2.
All right, what you drinking, Martin?
So today, I'm being dry today for the podcast. I miss drinking, but it's almost race season, so I got to start cutting out the alcohol and try to stay dry. And dry January is right around the corner. Um,
Oh,
so,
sure.
so I'm drinking cherry juice mixed with pineapple juice and a little bit of water to cut it because the cherry is very tart. And pineapple juice is also pretty tart in itself, so the water kind of cuts that acid a little bit. It's the cranberry juice helps with muscle recovery,
Oh,
so that's why I got it. I didn't run today; it's actually a rest day, which is really nice. So I get to have energy for the podcast. Meanwhile, me not running, I had to take a nap to power up the podcast. It's weird how that works. I had like no energy. It might be because I went into the office today.
that's it.
Yeah, I worked. Well, it was like half a day, but don't tell my boss if she's listening.
All
Anyway,
right, well,
so overall, I give this drink. I've never been a cherry fan, but when you pair it with pineapple juice, it tastes really good. So I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10 for a non-alcoholic drink. It's really good, and it's refreshing, and it helps with trying to make babies, which is kind of what the podcast is about.
Segue.
because because as I'll be very honest with you guys. Me and my wife were trying to have kids, and we actually do want to have kids. But we also know is that there are people in this world, millennials and Gen Zs, who don't want to have kids. So this is the episode we're going to talk about why different factors and reasons why people don't want to have kids, where we stand on it. So I guess we should turn to you, Jermaine. Where do you stand on the kids and not kids bandwagon?
okay, yeah. So for me, like, well, just my opinion. I've always wanted kids, so like, I am pro having kids. There it is. Pro having kids. I want to have a family. So to me, it's just yeah, just finding the partner that will also want to have a family. So that's my view on it. Pro one kids.
Catherine?
Uh, I I'll stand in the middle. I'll be right in the middle. I don't know for sure. Uh, I'm not one of those people that's like completely against it, but I'm also not 100% decided on it. Uh, I would sway more towards the no side
Mm.
probably, but yeah.
Well, I think that's a perfect place to start. So, I guess what are the factors that are leading you towards saying no?
Um,
Being a millennial.
As a millennial, yes, as a millennial.
I don't feel the pressure that I have to do it just to like check a box off, or to like validate a relationship or for my own like self worth, I guess. If I were to have kids, it would be because I really thought that I could raise a decent human in the world, um, and have a part in that. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I also want to like travel, um, and so I would be looking at a different lifestyle.
yeah. Yeah, I find that. So I was reading an article about. I'll put the article in the description below. An article regarding like how millennials and Gen Zs, and it was mainly focused on women because they gotta carry it. we just put the
We
seed
plant
in the
the seed and we
soil.
out.
And then we're just like, hey yo, we'll let Mother Earth deal with it, and I'll peace out. I'll come check in every now and then just to make sure the seed growing, but other than that, I'm good.
In
Uh
9 months, got to go get some milk, get some
exactly.
cigarettes.
Dad left with some cigarettes. He never came back. Um, but like in the article, a lot of like women, like you mentioned, Catherine, were shared similar sentiments as you, like um a lot of them felt like they needed to check a box. That's what was their immediate driving force on it, and like as growing up, right? Like they thought, oh, that's what needs to happen, right? Like you go to school, or I mean, you go to college, you get a job, you get a partner, you get married, and you have a kid, and then you might have another kid, and then after that, your life's basically over, right? So they look at it as like a hard stop. And in this article, they talk about how the perspective, not the perception, the perception of, or the view. I'm not using SAT words anymore. I'm struggling. The view of.
Word.
All right.
All right, I'm hating all night. I'll stop.
No, that's fine. You can go ahead and hate all you want, dog. Hey, keep me honest. I ain't using SOL words. Um, uh, so the view of women in media, like any forms of media, film, TV, books, for our generation, always saw women or moms, at least from what I saw growing up, as always tired. It's a thankless job. You're gonna be the one to do all the work. The man's not gonna do anything, and your kids are a nightmare. So it's like all these women seem tired, exhausted. It doesn't show like their happiness or whatever. Like it doesn't show another side of it. Only shows the negative. And in the article, the woman mentioned like that's how her perception was. Like she was like, I felt like I was forced, or I was forcing myself to want a kid, even though I didn't want to, because I was like, well, that's just the next stage in life. So I feel like that's one reason why, like, at least from the people I've talked to in the article I read that mentioned that.
I
But yeah,
think.
go ahead.
Sorry, I thought you were having a break there, but I
No,
think
I'm breaking.
that
I'm breaking. Yeah.
okay. I think that makes sense. A lot of people, feel that pressure of wanting to have kids because that's the strategic next thing that happens in life, like you said. But then you also have the people nowadays. They're realizing that you don't have to do that. Like there's nothing that says, "Hey, this is how you need to live your life." I think that a lot of people, especially in the Black community, we just think that that's the natural progression. That's what you need to do. You need to preserve your legacy and keep moving forward, and we got to overtake. We got to become the majority in this world. So the more people not having kids works out in our favor. So then you can't be racist if you get the majority, right?
Exactly. We won. Nah, bro.
But also you think about the other reasons like money, reasons like the state of the world in general. I'll start with money first. In this society, we can't afford a freaking house.
Nah.
Everything is going up. Inflation, all the prices are rising, costs are rising. Daycare costs are like through the roof. Like you gotta pay a mortgage just to have someone watch your kid every month. Like it's insane. A lot of people, millennials and Gen Zs, we're not making a ton of money to where we can continue to have a life and also have kids with that life. And another part of that is because of COVID, because COVID took away 2 solid years of our lives where we could have done all the traveling, exploring, growing that we wanted to do. And we were kind of stunted, I guess, emotionally and like mentally. So we had more time to kind of sit with ourselves. And a lot of people during that time of self reflection were like, I don't need to do this. I don't want to have kids. I don't get to, I need to do like all these things that I wanted to do in life and I don't get to do them anymore if I have kids. So why would I put that pressure on myself? And I'm still trying to pay off my student loans. How the hell am I going to have a fucking kid and
Right.
pay student loans and buy a house and buy a car? Like the math ain't mathing. So I think more than anything, I think money is a huge concern for a lot of people even people who want to have kids, they have to think about that money and how they're going to be able to provide for that kid.
How
Yeah.
did, huh?
No, I was gonna say. I was like, Captain. Yeah, go for it.
No, I was gonna ask a hard question for you, Martin, but like I cannot imagine being in a position right here today to say like I'm ready to have a kid.
Hmm.
So like how are you like terrified? Are you feeling like confident and secure in that? Like how did you get there and how do you feel about it?
Ooh, loaded question.
Yeah.
But this is what the podcast is about: transparency and honesty. Oh, I'm fucking terrified. Like, I think no one goes into the idea of having kids with pure confidence, saying like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna work out. I'm gonna be the greatest dad, role model, whatever." I think that I personally, there are things that I still want to do in my life. Like, I still want to do more traveling. I still want to do X, Y, and the third. But I also think I'm in a place financially and emotionally where I'm ready to take that step. I've always had a passion for mentoring and leadership, and being able to.
I just imagine the baby come out with a suit and tie, and it was like, "All right, teach me. I'm ready to learn some art."
As soon as I have a baby, I'm like, son, this is the playbook. I was like, there are going to be so many plays that we run together to pick up checks. It's going to be amazing.
You're gonna just heads up.
But yeah, I mean, I just think that I mean, I know that that's what I want. I always wanted to be a father. I think a lot of it is pretty selfish. I do think that I could be a better parent than my father was. And I want to have that experience and that bond to know that, well, one, just to experience it. I see some friends who struggle and family members who struggle, but also, they also mention the good things. They're like, oh, when they took their first steps, how it made me feel. And it's just small things. Like when me and my wife, we went to see Cirque du Soleil, and there was a kid there who was watching it for the first time. It's to see how amazed they were. They're like, oh my God, look at all this stuff. Like seeing things for the very first time and getting to experience that with your kids. That's a feeling that I want to have. To be like, yeah, I was able to do this for my kid. Granted, like I said, money is always a problem. I don't think you can avoid that in general unless, me and my wife both make substantially more money. But I think we're in a good place right now financially to have a semi-normal life while also still being able to live. Just not as many not as many trips, not as many like YOLO. I'm just gonna buy what I want. We have to actually have a budget, but I'm fine with it.
Yeah, and I'm not in a position where I was like, I can be like, oh well, I'm married, and I'm like, okay, now I can make that decision. Um, but my thoughts on it is, it's like it's hard, like especially like I have no idea. I'm not a parent at all, but speaking to my
None of us are.
none of us are.
Can
But for
you
the people,
imagine any of us as parents? You thought about that? Like, I was like, Jermaine was the guy who was on his knees, like saying meow, first year of college.
I don't know,
That dude's a
man.
dad.
I'm like I have to, like, for me as a person that wants kids, I have to give myself some realization. Like I do a lot of like trying to non romanticize it and kind of just keep it in the middle, because how like I always wanted kids, like ever since like I always want to be like similar to you, like I always want to be a dad because of the fact my dad was shitty. And I was like, oh, what, 7? When I was like, oh, I want to be a dad. So my entire life from 7 to now, I've always dreamt of raising a child. But it is seeing some good things and bad things and trying to be honest with it. Because I feel like if you go into it, like I have family members that did go into it, one thinking that this is what they had to do because they were Christian. It's just because it's the culture or whatever. And then come to find out, they see that they look at it as we actually had a conversation with my family members regarding sacrifice, and they used having kids as an example of sacrifice. The younger people, the millennials, said, I sacrificed so much for this. Like, I get, basically, I'm sacrificing my entire life for a kid. While the older people said, like, oh, well, we didn't see it as a sacrifice when we were raising you guys. We just saw it was just a different period in time. We saw that we just had to change. Like, and when they said that, it made me think of each step in life. If we see it like I'm giving up something or like I'm removing something from me versus like going with it, it's a different point. It's a different type like perspective on things. If you're saying like I had a kid, life has now changed. versus like I have a kid, my life is now ruined. You know, like so it's like
Well, one of the big things they do talk about when you do have a kid is that you're not going to have any as much personal growth. Like most of your growth is going to be, just emotionally, but like you're not going to have time to dedicate to running marathons. You're not going to have time
oh
I know, right? You're not going to have time to, study up on things because you have to look after your kid more, or you're going to have less time to do that. You have to say, wait till they go to bed to do things that you want to do. And to speak to what you just mentioned, I think that having a kid is a sacrifice. I think it's like the ultimate sacrifice and it's like a selfless act. But like I said, selfish earlier, but it's also selfless because you're putting hopefully you put someone else before you in that effort. You're not just having a kid just to check a box and not take care of them and not to, you know, be the best parent that you could possibly be. And some people have better resources than others and better, emotionally inept, emotionally availability to be better parents than others. But
mm-hmm.
I just think that I think that parenting is a blessing.
I have a question for both of you, and I want Catherine to answer first. Do you feel like our generation, we can't really speak on Zoomers? I feel like I only talked to like 2 Zoomers in my life, and they were like, "Ew, kids, gross. I never want that. Doesn't make sense to me. Why would you want to spend all that money?" They were very logical. They just saw like the logical part of it, which I was like, you can't beat the numbers. Like literally, if you was like math person, was like this just logically doesn't make sense. Why would I do this? It's all betting. You're betting against the house. You're losing against the house all the time.
The house wins every time.
Exactly. But yeah, do you think that I guess media, but rather like social media, TikTok and Instagram, influences both sides of it on both extremes? Like example is like I was reading an article and the lady was talking about how you don't see a lot of middle ground, like people saying like the both good and bad of having kids. It'll either be like far left, like kids are awful, never do it, like I wish I was child free, or like the actual child free movement, which is like basically demonizing people for having kids, saying like you're an awful person for having kids. Why you bring your kids on the airplane? Like you're terrible. Like you should just not bring kids in this world. Um, you're selfish. And then the far right, I don't know why I used that. How
Yeah.
I got to that point,
Now it's
but
political.
they're like very like religious minded and very like, oh, we need to like go grassroots, like go back to our roots, be always happy. Motherhood is a blessing, and having a family is a blessing, and all this stuff. Like, and only someone, or not even on that like religious side, but just like the people that only show the good sides. Do you think that skews the view of like people deciding on having children? Because I do feel like there are a lot of people, women in general, because again they have to carry the child, um, in the middle on this discussion.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that we're living in a crazy time where things are really polarized right now. There's not a lot of middle ground when it comes to like how people feel about any situation. And if you're on the middle ground, like I think that that has some stigma attached with it too. So I think that people automatically jump to like one extreme or the other so that way they're not, I don't know, it feels comfortable, I guess.
Mm.
And you don't have like once you make the decision to be on one extreme or the other, then you just like I feel like people in our generation just like fight that side to the death, and defend it and aren't really willing to engage in like conversation or change their point of view.
Mar-
Um,
Martin, what do you think?
Um, I'm not gonna lie to you, I zoned out a little bit. I was sitting here thinking about how I haven't had dinner yet. That's what's on my mind. But no. So to speak to what you mentioned, I do think that the social media does play a huge factor in people being on one side or the other. I mean, I'm getting a lot of videos from friends who don't want kids to be like, oh, Um, like I woke up this morning, got out of bed, did my morning workout, did my meditation, everything, and didn't have to think about what another person was doing, or didn't have to worry about someone else. Meanwhile, you're like, man, I love having kids. And on the other side, it's just like my kids are my world, they're my life, they bring so much joy and happiness. Like there's this the two sides are completely opposite, and it's just like, man, you're not living a fulfilled life if you don't have kids on that side of the house. Um, and to speak to what Catherine said about the middle ground, how it's not safe either. It's like make a decision. What do you want? I mean, even Jermaine and I had a conversation in the past. It probably was on the podcast, probably wasn't, and I might be throwing Catherine on the bus here a little bit. But Jermaine said that when he was dating, if a girl said that they didn't know what they wanted kids wise, he's just like, I'm not taking that chance. I'm not going down that road because he wants kids and he doesn't want them to be in the middle, like, figure out later, like, oh, you know what? I don't want kids. And he'd feel like it's a waste of time. Now, keep in mind, there are other options of having kids, but I do think that Jermaine wants his own blood kids. I'm putting a lot of people's business out there. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine, and that's actually a good point because in the article, the lady did ask. In the start of the article, she asked her husband. They were boyfriend. They were together for like a year at this point. And she was like, "So, how do you feel about kids?" And he emphatically, well, not emphatically, he was like, "Well, really want kids. I've always saw myself a father." But it's not a deal breaker if that's what you're worried about. And in the article, she was like, I could see that he was hesitant and that he used a political, not political, like a middle ground answer, just so he didn't want to put me in a box. And it's not that, for me, it's not that, let's say for the sake of argument, that I have a partner and we couldn't have kids, right? But but she wanted children too. It's the what like it's the actual the your perception on what you want versus like what it actually can be. That's the most important thing to me because if it's like, oh, I want kids, but I can't have like my own, are we gonna adopt or are we just gonna be now child free? And then that's the discussion that we can have. But I feel like for if you're in like not to say it's wrong with being in the middle ground, but if somebody does want kids or doesn't want kids, and either on either side they're in the middle ground, you're like, well, I don't know if I want kids, or someone's like, I definitely don't want kids. I've seen people that did not want kids ended up with somebody that was in the middle ground and was like, we're 2 years in. And I'm nervous that will want kids. I don't want to put you in that position to decide like us getting married or together or long term and then later on you regret not having kids because you're still in the middle. So it's like it's nothing wrong with being in the middle, not knowing or whatever, but it's the discussion around it. Like and it's the same thing with extremes, right? You could say like in the middle, well, yeah, I'm here, versus like, yeah, I'm here. There's no possible way. Why would you not want to have kids? Or, no, I'm here, and then you're an idiot. Why do you want to have kids? It's that extreme. It's like we should be, because like Catherine said, I feel like this topic is just one of the most hot button topics. But I feel like a lot of our generation, Gen Z as well, we have very polarizing positions on anything. Like you said, you got friends that send you like stuff on like being happy having kids. I used to have friends send me like because I was really working out. Like I was working out, but I wasn't a gym rat. But everyone assumed that I worked out, that I'm on the far end. I work out 5 hours a day and don't have time for stuff. So people would send me memes like, "Oh, my man in the gym, me lifting a beer in my in my mouth," or
Doing
or
forklifts.
or exactly, or like any form of extreme. Like I feel like there's not a lot of like letting people do what they want anymore. It's more just like you have to pick a team. I like calling it. I mean, it's like sports. It's literally like if you're not on one team, like you said, Catherine earlier, people feel comfortable when they choose a team and they can go all in on the team. They now not don't they don't have a thought. I don't want to say they thought for themselves, but they have an echo chamber, right? And they grow in the echo chamber. They don't think like, oh well, even though I want kids or even though I'm indifferent about kids, there's nothing wrong with other people having kids or not having kids. It just is. But it's like either you have to choose a team.
You know, one of the things that I agree with, something, and this goes back to earlier in our conversation, is that Gen Z logical mindset. I mean, even I think to myself right now, like logically having a kid doesn't make sense. Like it doesn't make sense at all, considering the state of the world, all the gun violence, and having to think, oh, I can't protect my kid at all times. Like they go to a school, there might be a shooting, something can happen, and I'm powerless to do anything. And the emotional trauma that comes with that, and knowing that you can't do anything if something were to happen, and even like the fears of like potential miscarriages or how much that can affect your relationship. Like there's a lot that can go wrong with it. Going into it, my wife, before we even got married, I had to ask the question. It's like, what do you want to do? Do you want to have kids? Do you not want to have kids? And it became a really emotional conversation because I always wanted to have kids. She's always been like, I don't know. And then like it went started from like I don't know to if I did have kids, I only want to have kids with you to I'm worried if we did. I mean, if we tried and we didn't have kids, you would leave me.
Mm-hmm.
It got all the way down to that level because she knows how much I wanted kids. But hearing all that for me, and something it kind of echoes what you said earlier, Jermaine, is as long as we try, like I'm good. Like if we try and we fail, we could just be dinks and have a whole bunch of money and travel and do whatever we want. Like I don't need to have kids to find satisfaction in my life. Like it wouldn't. If it didn't happen, it would suck. Like it would be whatever. But I get over it with a trip to Dubai. I get over it with a trip to Hawaii. Like I could do things to fill my time. But the other part of that, which I don't know how long that happiness would last personally, because I see my wife's parents, and well, they're on the they're waiting for grandkids, so they're in that side of the house. But one thing that her dad has said to me is, they're relatively successful. They've said something. He said, I don't really care about anything else than like having grandkids. Like travel means nothing anymore. Like I don't
Mm.
want anything else. Like in this old age, like I feel like I've done all the things that I really wanted to do. I could just He's just like I just want to live a life for someone else at this point. And I was like, man, that's crazy. I can only imagine if I was like at that age and didn't have kids, I'd be like, man, like I've done everything. Like what else
Mm.
do I do? Maybe I should get into a submarine and see what happens. Like I think that's what happens. You get bored, and I don't want to get bored. And I think that having a kid makes life interesting. So
Until they get old.
until you get able to get out the house, and you're like, yes, finally.
Now
But
I'm
it's
bored
checking the
again.
box. Well, I don't think I'd be bored again. I'd be like, all right, you're out the house. Now I'm gonna do more traveling as a older person. But I just also didn't. I don't think anyone should wait to do anything because tomorrow's not promised.
Exactly.
So I'm always like, do all the traveling, do all the fun things you want to do now. If you do want kids, because once you have kids, that stops for a little bit, unless you have like really awesome caretakers that can help you out. But or money, yeah.
Catherine, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I had two thoughts. The first one I wanted to like clarify my stance some. Um, just coming from like a childhood where my parents were divorced and having children was a big reason for their divorce. Um, I really I mean, I've always wanted kids. My thought now as I've gotten older and like done therapy and worked through some things is just that I really think that kids should be to like enhance a relationship, not to check a box or to fix a relationship. I think that it's really relationship dependent and like it would be dependent. You both just took a drink.
we agreed to a game where if Kylie says something too deep, we take a sip.
For sure. Anyways, that's just my thought. Is like it really is a decision between like my life partner in general, just because I really don't want to put a child through, like, I know that there's not a lot of control over it and no one really makes that choice, but that's one reason that I think so heavily about it. And then two, I was going to shift to a slightly lighter topic. Even though I don't have kids and I'm not in a relationship, I do babysit several times a week. And my really good friend has a 2 year old, almost 2 year old. And I just like, you guys know what you're in for. Kids are crazy. So cute and sweet. But I was babysitting the other day, and the 3 year old, we were making Christmas ornaments together and he wanted to cut something out. And I was like, okay, we'll get scissors. You show me where to cut, and I'll cut the ornament for you. This kid, they had two. This kid comes back around the corner with a knife and goes, I couldn't find scissors, but knives cut things too.
Oh my god.
Oh
And I was just
god.
like screaming, like I do at Bodie, like, drop it, just like drop the knife.
Sir, get down on the ground, drop the knife.
Yeah.
Stop resisting.
Yeah.
You can't running around with a knife.
Start him young. Start him young.
Uh, so yeah, it's something that I would explore with the right partner because those little guys are a lot of work, and you have. I really feel like you need a good team behind
Yeah.
you.
I agree. I think you need, with a kid, a good village and a good team. And also just be mentally prepared. Because I feel like a lot of people, when they go in, if they just like, kids are going to, like you said, fix a relationship, or kids are going to be easy. And then they have like demon childs. Because look, we're going to be out, like, kids are cute, but they can also be like Satan. Um, and
Yikes.
I mean, it's true.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be prepared for that and how you handle it. And I feel like your mental state and the growth that you have made in your life can make or break how you view kids, or like how you handle your own children. Because if you're not in the mental place where you can be like, I have now nerves of steel, and yeah, I'll yell at them every now and then, but to like snap, and then snap and be like, okay, kids suck. Why did I do this? I feel like it's definitely an endeavor. It's a lack of better terms, and I'm probably gonna get heat in the comment section. But kids is kind of like if you're going in like raw on a marathon. If you never ran a marathon, you're like, man, this shit gonna be a breeze, and you have to run the whole time. You're like, what did I get myself into? I didn't train for this. Why did I do this to myself? I hate every moment of this. And then you get to the marathon at the end and you're like throwing up, hate everything, can't move. You have to probably get taken to the hospital. That's you going in blind with kids. So, yeah, that's my stance. Be
and,
prepared if you want to have kids.
and this is why a lot of dads leave. Anyway.
Oh gosh.
Oh god.
I got no
Yeah.
ties. I'm out. I'm getting cigarettes.
Oh god, I'm gonna go get some red stripes. Oh man. So I guess in closing, do you guys have any? I guess well, one thing I want to say in closing is that I do want to say that there are people who have kids without a partner. There are options out there for women to go in and have their own kid. And if a guy wanted to do surrogacy, you don't have to have a team to do it. You can do it by yourself. And I don't think that's talked about enough in general. But you're a different beast if you do that by yourself. I can't imagine. Like you're way stronger than
Oh,
I would
100%.
be to do that. But yeah, is there anything that you would want to say to anyone who is like kind of on the fence, or say like hard no, don't have kids? Do you think one's better than the other? What do you guys think?
Catherine?
Um, no, as someone on the fence, I feel like it's okay. Um, I guess my parting words would be like just about everything, keep an open mind. Like you never know what the future holds. Things might change, your opinion might change. Listen to others who have like experience and wisdom and opinions, and yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have
I,
all
I
the
know.
love in the world for parents out there. You guys have a tough job.
Shout out. shout out to parents. And the last thing I would say is, respect other people's opinions. There's no right or wrong answer. Only you can make that decision yourself. So just listen to yourself and listen, and don't take outside, don't wholly value outside other like opinions other than your own, because we're all about following your intuition, following your heart. If you have the emotional growth, you'll hear that little voice saying yay or nay. And like Catherine said, keep an open mind. But guys, let us know what you think about this episode. Remember, please read the article down below. It's linked down below. But where can they send their comments, questions? Maybe they say like y'all birthers or y'all ain't shit. Where can they send all their hate or love messages to us?
Yeah, you can find us at Unsolicited Counseling Podcast on Facebook. You can find us at Unsolicited Counseling on Instagram and YouTube. And you can send us an email at youadvicepodcast@gmail.com.
All right, guys. And as always, we love you guys. We're here for you guys. One drink at a time, one episode at a time. Be easy, y'all.
Latest.
Punching out. KO.